Hi, I'm Brandy. This is Hound Dog Hollow, and we have
Hey guys.
Sorry. No, go. I'm not sure. This is pretty funny. I'm not sure how to make it big in my screen.
What do you mean make it big on your screen?
There we go. I figured it out. I did it.
So we are going live this time through StreamYard, and Brandy's not used to that, right? Is this your first time going live through StreamYard?
The only other time I've done it is when I was interviewed by you on your channel.
Okay, so you didn't technically do it in StreamYard. That's right. You just took the link, right?
Yeah. This is my first time. But I like it. It's very, it looks very polished. Has a little bit more perks than.
Yes.
I can't see the conversation though. Let me.
Yeah, you got to give it. Well, there's private, and then there's the regular comments. It says.
Okay.
To the right.
All right, I can see it now. Sometimes I lag.
It always does with the live stream. I'm actually going on really quick to YouTube instead of just. There we go. It always does. There we go. And turn myself off. Put it over here. Whoopsie. Uh-oh, did I just get rid of myself?
I see you.
Did I put it down? There we go. I thought I just canceled myself out again.
No. Thank goodness, right?
That's like the story of my life. No, I'm just kidding. So give it some time for people to roll in.
Yeah.
But I started to watch and then I couldn't. Hi, Jen. I couldn't just because of other stuff that I had going on last night. What all kinds of stuff are you doing for this new moon? And what is your rising sign?
Me, Brandy, it is Pisces. I'm a Pisces rising. And so tonight, because the moon doesn't go new until 9 p.m. here, and so right at the darkest dark part of the moon, I was going to do a quick release, just very simple timed writing exercise of everything I want to release on a piece of paper and then burn it and flush it down the toilet.
There you
have
go.
the water take it away with all the other excrement.
Excellent. There you go. Did you know that with you being a Pisces rising, that this particular moon affects you in your 11th house?
Yes. Which is like communication, internet.
Support. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Jen O and Jennifer Cochran. I can see them. Okay. I think it's a bit delayed though, because I heard you say hi, Jen, but I'm just barely seeing it go
Yeah,
up.
I pulled it up on actually YouTube. You can see it quicker on YouTube than what you can through StreamYard. Because there's a little bit of a delay. But
right.
Yeah, so this particular moon affects you in, which has to do with groups, friends, social awareness, humanitarianism, technology, hopes and wishes, and future, because it's actually the 11th house, which is based off of Aquarius. So
yeah, and that's awesome, because also I know that. So you're going off of where my Capricorn is, right?
Where your rising sign. This is going off of your rising sign.
I have another. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly correct. They kind of line up this time, so that's great.
They say you can go by your star sign, or sun sign, which
it's not a Leo. I am a Leo, and I know they say that, but that it's not going to be it's more going to be of a generalized reading, right?
Right. It's better, they say, if you go off of what your rising sign is. It's just not everybody, I think, knows what their rising sign is because they don't know their actual birth time.
Yes. So, and let me share a link where you guys can get that really quick. So, and it takes literally just a couple minutes. You would put this into I'm going to put it into the comments. You would put that link into your thing, and you will need your birth time and place, though. It doesn't work without your birth time and place. And it's free. And it gives you like a 20 to 40 page report. But the most important thing is you get to know what your rising sign is. But of course, you have to kind of know what your time of birth is. And that becomes challenging for those of us who don't have our birth certificates or who are adopted or whatever happened. Yeah.
Hi, Sherry. The rule of thumb I've always heard, though, if you don't know it, then put in like noon of the day that you were born.
All right.
However, I will say, if you can talk to, even if you don't know the exact time, if you can kind of rule it down a little bit and talk to a parent or an aunt or an uncle or maybe an older sibling and ask them if they even remember around the time of day that you were born. Because if you, something I did with Summer from Ascension channel, she doesn't know exactly. So we did like 4 different times. Believe it or not, it comes up 4 different ways based on the time that you're born.
Yeah.
Even if it's an hour difference. But then once you do that, look at, and it changes every single one of your houses too. I couldn't believe it. I had the wrong time on mine, and I just found my birth certificate like a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. And I had the wrong time. I had an hour earlier than what it was. And so when I put in the new information, it changed every single thing, every part of my house. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that's really, it's so funny how it works that way, because your rising sign is the cusp of your very first house. And thereafter it'll go in zodiac order. But unless of course you have intercepted signs, which I do. So mine is Pisces rising, right? So Pisces is my first house, but Aries and Libra are intercepted for me. So instead of going,
what does that mean, intercepted? I don't understand.
It completely skips it. It's enveloped in another house. So my first house is Pisces, and you would think that my second house would be Aries, but it's intercepted, meaning that it's completely contained within the first house. So my second house is Taurus. It means that I have 2 duplicate houses. So I have 2 houses in Gemini and I have 2 houses in Sagittarius instead of having 1 house in each area.
Wow, that's really weird.
It's really weird. And
is that rare?
It's not common. But you know, the funny thing, Rochelle, my husband has the same thing, but not the same signs. He has 2 intercepted signs. Yeah.
That is friggin' amazing.
Yeah. It's pretty rare. So for me, I have 2 Geminis and 2 Sagittarius. And for my husband, he has 2 Aries, which is what I'm missing, and 2 Libras. So he has the 2 houses that I'm missing.
I didn't even bring my chart down here.
I keep it in my book of shadows.
Yeah, I've got, wait a minute.
Yes, I do. Yay, you do have it.
See, I have my Western and I have my Vedic in here. And this is what the Vedic chart looks like, and it looks totally different.
Wow.
And then, of course, I don't have the circle part for the Western. I just put in all of my information, wrote it in.
Yeah, I write mine like that too, because drawing the circle is kind of a hassle.
Exactly.
I put it in the beginning of every book of shadows just to have, just to refer to. It can be a pain in the butt. So what we wanted to talk about here is how the new moon affects or may affect you specifically. It's ideal to have your rising sign, which is why we left the link there. And we're going to share a lot of information that assumes that you have your rising sign. However, I do have one source, the Moonary by June, and it just asks that you know where Capricorn is in your chart. So you may still need to know your natal chart, but you might be able to get around it because you might know where your planet, if you have a planet in Capricorn. Some people do know that. Like, for example, if your sun was in Capricorn or your moon, you would know that pretty easily without needing to know your rising sign. So you can know where each of your planets are without knowing your rising.
But what is amazing about this particular new moon is it's the very first new moon of the year.
Yes.
And it is happening in the moon sign of Capricorn, although it quickly moves to Aquarius, but it is in the moon of Capricorn, as well as the sun sign of Capricorn.
Yes.
And Venus is also in Capricorn.
Yes. And so
And it is also in Pluto. Pluto is in Capricorn.
yeah.
And Pluto is also a planet of like fireworks and transformation and so a lot
Liminal
of
spaces.
explosive like expansion, and excitement. Yeah. So this is a great moon for doing some major planning that you want for the following year. And I would say that this does not really matter tons if you use this particular system that I'm going to talk about here, which is knowing whether it's in your rising sign. You can get the general information. However, I use this like I use like numerology and knowing like what the underlying energy is in your particular chart, how it affects you. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, rather than your basic universal energy.
Yes. And if you want the basic universal energy, I did a live on that 2 days ago on my channel, which is just all of the everything going on. And there's a lot. It's a lot going on. We have a very challenging square between Uranus and Mars, which is going to cause chaos and kind of like clashes. Mercury is getting ready to go retrograde, so we're in the shadow period of Mercury retrograde, so there may be misunderstandings and miscommunications. There's a lot going on in general, but it's very nice that we have the information to share with you guys about how it might affect you specifically, which I think is just a really nice lens to look through.
Exactly. Sorry, my husband's texted me. He just got home. He's not hollering at me because he knows I'm on live, but
that's funny. Mine just stomps in here whenever he's like, "Hey." Did you want to start with Moonology, or how did you want to start, dear?
Well, if you want to know specifically, if you don't know what house this is affecting, let me know what your rising sign is really quick if you want to type it in, and I can tell you what house this is in and what that means for you. So, and this for me is in my 7th house.
Ooh, nice.
Is, right? Pardon me?
Partnerships, right?
Partners. Yeah, exactly. So I will tell you what it says for me for this one. And keep in mind that Capricorn is very much about like long-term goals and rising in Aquarius, long-term goals and career and advancement and stability and traditions, stuff like that, and the law. And so I'll tell you what it means for me, and then we'll do yours, Jen, okay? Oh, I'm looking in the wrong book. It might help if I look in the right book. Okay, so for me, like I said, it's in my 7th house. It says, how is your love life? There's a new moon in your love zone this month, which means you're getting the chance to reinvigorate your love life. If you're single, this is the perfect time to move on from old loves, old dreams, and any old heartaches. If you're attached, you're probably aware of the importance of keeping your relationship fresh, and this new moon brings in fresh energy and a chance to think about some of the things that you and your partner can do this month. So I told my husband last night, I said, this is kind of good for you because that means we have to have a lot of sexual healing. Because we're setting the pace for the rest of the year, right? So we got to work on it. It's like, all right.
That's so funny. Oh, man.
Okay, so yours is in Aquarius.
Hi, Lavender Moon. Hi, Gary.
Hi, guys. So that means
like Sherry's after with Taurus.
What's that?
I said it looks like Sherry is after with Taurus.
Okay. So, Jen, this is in your 12th house of secrets. Ooh. So what that means is you're in a slightly strange cycle. Can you feel it? This month, the new moon is taking place in the part of your chart where you keep all matters hidden and spiritual. This can be a time when you just want to withdraw from the world, or if you're on a spiritual path, you might want to take time out from the madness to meditate. Know that the universe will deliver the messages that you need to hear. So now is a great time to be increasing like your spirituality and stuff like that. So focus on something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's also really good. It's about like fireworks, like I said, fireworks and transformation. So I'm thinking like awakening and, you know, more ascension, becoming more in tune with things that are happening. So who was the next one? Sherry, my rising is in Taurus. Okay, so with your rising in Taurus, it's in your 9th house of spirituality, Sherry. And what it says for that is, what did I say, 9th house? Yeah. I believe the 9th house is the most auspicious house also, isn't it? It's the luckiest house out of all of them.
It's
yeah, because that's Sagittarius.
Yeah, right? Pluto's expansion, yeah. Or Jupiter. What am I saying?
Right. So it says for you, personal growth, religion, philosophy, publishing, the internet, travel, and study. These are just some of the subjects looming large for you now as the full moon takes place in your 9th house. Be honest with yourself. Have you been fussing too much over the details of your latest problems or tasks? If so, step back and look at the big picture of where you are and where you want to be. This is a great time to try something that's beyond your usual everyday realm. Wow. Excellent. So
it looks like lavender moon's a Sagittarius rising.
All right, let me see.
I've been feeling disjointed lately too, lavender moon. I think it's just because of all the transformational energy. It's throwing, I feel like, a lot of us off balance.
Okay, so both Mindy and Amber are both Sagittarius rising, which means, and you know, the thing is, and I wasn't going to bring this up because, I mean, obviously this is Western, but the new moon is actually in Sagittarius in Vedic astrology. So it would affect your 1st house, which is the self. However, we're going to work with Western astrology tonight because we don't want to confuse anybody. So that would be your 2nd house of money would be affected, which is good because with it being in Capricorn, exactly, with it being in Capricorn, it can be about setting the pace for your career for this next year. So
and that was my intentions too.
I'm sorry, what?
That was one of the things that I wanted to work on with this new moon energy was career, public image, reputation, public self.
Yes. So it says balance is required between what you do for yourself financially and what you do for others. Consider your income and your debts, your self-worth, and what others pay you, which is usually based on what you ask for. If you're about to make a major purchase, you're doing it at the right time. If you've been letting someone control you because they have financial power over you, this is your chance to break free. So anybody that is in a job that they do not like, or they have a controlling boss, if this is the house that it's in, now would be the time to, I'm not saying quit your job. I wouldn't say that, especially right now, but put your feelers out there because now would be the time, and it would be astrologically beneficial for you at this time. So who else do we have in here?
I think Erie said that she's a Scorpio rising, but she has a question mark, so I'm not sure.
No, I thought you said you're Courtney, I thought you said you were Virgo rising.
Oh, Spirited Dragonfly, she's reading it based on your rising sign. So if you know your rising sign, type it in the comment and she'll tell you how this new moon in Capricorn specifically affects you, where it's transiting in your chart.
Right. And, you know, whatever you're doing, this is like and it's just like, and I say this just like in regular astrology, there's like universal astrology, but then there's like personal astrology. You don't have to use it, but if you use it, it might give you an advantage. So, you know, because this is the power, this is the energy that is surrounding you personally. Yeah. So Virgo. So what it says for Virgo rising, because I made a little chart just so you guys know of where it affects, who this one affects. So Virgo is in your 5th house of creativity, Courtney. And what it says for that is, did I get the wrong one? Welcome to the house of fun. Have you been having a bit of that lately? If not, then the skies are strongly suggesting that it's time to get out and do a little bit of what you fancy. Could you use a restart in terms of romance, creativity, or kids? Identify with ones that you want to work on and draw up an action plan. What you do to inch closer to what you want. Remember, the law of attraction means that we can't get what we want until we know what we want. So creativity, having fun, you know, get up and dance and be creative with the stuff that you've got coming in. You know what you've got coming in, go with it, because now is a good time for that. Rising sign Capricorn. Okay. And you're a Sagittarius. That's Spirited Dragonfly. Right. So with your rising sign being Capricorn, this new moon affects you in your 1st house of self. So what that means is this new moon is taking place in your 1st house this month, which is big news. It offers you the chance to start again any part of your life in which you know that's needed. If you're really happy with the way things are going, then consider an energy recharge to help propel you through the coming 12 months. If you want to change the way others see you, the next 4 weeks are the time to work on that. But see, and this is something that I had said in the beginning, if you were not in here, this is a important new moon because not only is it the first one of 2021, it's in the sign of Capricorn, which is your rising, especially for you, honey. It's not only in the sign of Capricorn, it's the moon and the sun. It's in Venus is in Capricorn and Pluto is in Capricorn. So this is a big, huge time to be making like long-term, at least 6 months into, 2021 with your intentions. And with this one being in your 1st house, the sky's the limit. Whatever you want to work on is saying, go for it.
Exactly.
Did I miss anybody?
I don't think so. I think we have everybody who is there. And I think we might have no, we haven't gone through every sign.
Do you want me to go through everything?
I don't know.
That might be good. I mean,
if people are watching the playback.
Right. So, why don't I read a few of these?
Yeah.
Do you want to read a few of them? So if your rising sign is Aries, it would be in your 10th house of career. You are very welcome. Sun in Scorpio, moon in Scorpio, ruling planet is Pluto. See, this time right now for you, Courtney, is really important too because of the fact that your ruling planet is Pluto, and this is Capricorn is in Pluto right now. So definitely a beneficial time.
Mm-hmm.
Time of like putting, because Capricorn is very structured, right?
Yeah.
Very career oriented, very responsible, very traditional, strong structures, likes to play by the rules. And I know you are a rebel. So this might help you, like ground you a little bit, but in an explosive way.
The good thing about Capricorn energy, though, is if you remember last month we had Sagittarius, which is this big dreamer and making these big plans and hope for the future, and like dreaming as if nothing could stop you. And Capricorn is, yes, about limitations and reining that in, but it's also about putting the pedal to the metal. Capricorn is the sign about making stuff happen,
Yeah,
getting things done.
Mhm.
So you've had all of that wonderful dream energy. You probably set some goals, maybe some intentions. Maybe you have a word of the year, card of the year. However, we did lots of exercises like that all over the witchy YouTube community. And so now Capricorn's saying like, okay, let's put our money where our mouth is and let's make it happen. So that's
Exactly.
really good energy, but it is kind of a little bit more stern and disciplined.
Mm. Well, I would say, Spirited Dragonfly, when you say I've never felt like a Sagittarius, it's
Mm.
because we are really not just our sun sign. That is just really just one portion of the bigger picture. I mean, you have like what planets are affected in different aspected in different houses, how that affects your um, you know, chart. We are just so complex. We are not just one little sign, especially our sun sign,
Yeah.
right? So
Mm.
what did you have for the 10th house of career for Aries?
Okay, let me pull it up. Sorry, I got distracted.
I'm sorry, I'm probably distracting you.
No. Okay, so according to, because I also have this one, um, the month's new moon is flooding your professional or student life with potential and ambition. If you're already on the right path in your working life, then this lunation can really amp things up. However, if you're struggling professionally and not quite sure where to turn, use this new moon as a marker. Over the coming 4 weeks, really put yourself out there, research your job market, and talk to experts who can help you get where you want to be. So that's really good information.
Yeah. Hi, Summer. Hi, Allison.
Hi, Allison. Hi, everyone. Hi, Summer. I know for a fact that Allison is a Pisces because she's my star twin. We have the same rising sun and moon sign. And I've never met somebody who had the same that closely.
That's cool. I'm a Capricorn, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So the next one, if your rising sign is Taurus, we already went through this one. That was the 9th house of spirituality.
Yes.
If you're and Summer, aren't you a Taurus rising, honey?
Oh, boy.
If I remember right.
I have a little visitor coming in.
Oh.
My tortoise just opened the door.
Capricorn, Taurus. Okay. So, Brandy, if you want to read that again about the Taurus, the 9th house of spirituality, this is how this affects your chart, honey. This new
This
moon.
part of your chart is related to study, travel, and adventure. There's a rush of new energy in these areas of your life, so if you have plans for them, ask for the sky's support. This part of your chart is about seeing the big picture of your life. It's about higher learning and self-improvement. This is the month to open your eyes to the big, wide world rather than fretting about all the little details on the home front. What do you
Nice.
think of that?
Oh. I'm sure it's not easy having a Capricorn parent. I have to ask my kids. I'm sure they would probably agree with you guys. But you know what? My husband's a Pisces.
Oh,
Yeah.
Daddy's
So
home. Sorry, I have a guest.
that's okay.
Go get Dad and tell him to get homie. Sorry.
Your tortoise. Can you pick up your tortoise and show everybody?
Oh yeah, he's heavy though.
Well, don't hurt your back, but oh my goodness, look at that big boy.
The problem is he likes to push through cords, and so he'll knock my laptop and all my lights over.
Oh my goodness.
Open the door, Bubba. Oh, stars, stop wiggling.
She was showing me yesterday a tour of her place, and he was just hanging out on the kitchen floor, just walking around slowly.
Sorry about that. I came home one day and everything was trash. I was like, what happened? And it turns out he had gotten tangled in the cords, and so he just yanked them all. I mean, he knocked all the lamps, he knocked the computer.
Oh
Because
my
like a dog who hits a cord and just backs up, the tortoise is like, I'm pushing through. So he pushes until he breaks everything.
How old is he, would you say?
I got him when he was 6 months old, so that was 2008. So he will be, or he probably is at this point, because I got him in June. He's probably 13. Yeah.
Wow.
He's
Wow.
big.
How big is he going to get?
His carapace can get up to 3 feet. So,
holy cow.
Yeah, and he'll live like 150 years. So he'll probably be my son's will. At least.
Wow, that's pretty cool though. So if you are a Gemini rising sign, this particular moon affects your 8th house of transformation, which would be like the house of Scorpio.
All right. You have the new moon in your 8th house this month. That means it's firing up the part of your chart that deals with sex and money. If your love life is dull, do whatever it takes to rev things up. If you have been inhibited, try something new. Go as far as you feel comfortable. Money-wise, it's all about where your money is involved with someone else. So you have a chance for a restart in terms of your income or salary. Plus, it's a very good time to set up a debt repayment plan. That's a lot of energy there.
Yeah. But would you expect anything less from Scorpio?
No.
Exactly. So I'd already talked about it. If you are a Cancer rising, then it would be affecting your 7th house of partners. Do you want to do that one again? I mean, we can. It doesn't matter.
Sure. How's your love life? There's a new moon in your love zone this month, which means you're getting the chance to reinvigorate your love life. If you're single, this is the perfect time to move on from old loves, old dreams, and any old heartaches. If you're attached, you're probably aware of the importance of keeping your relationship fresh. And this new moon brings in fresh energy and a chance to think about some of the things you and your partner can do this month.
Right. And that's mine. So like I told my husband, and this is for anybody that didn't hear that just came in, my husband was like, yeah, this is cool, because I told him, you know what that means? We need to have a lot of sexual healing, over this next period of time. He's like, yes.
Hi, Lori.
Hi, Lori. Amber says, I was literally just shopping my husband a video of a tortoise.
He's pretty easy. Mine just walks around the house, and he just walks around the house like a doggy.
That's funny. So if your rising sign is a Leo, then this will affect your 6th house of health.
Ooh, that's my son's rising. In one way, this is a dull and tedious house because it's the part of your chart that's all about your daily routines, not exactly riveting. However, this is also the part of your chart where you get a chance to tweak your schedules and routines so that at the very least, your daily life runs in a way that pleases you. If minor changes are needed in these areas, this is a great month to put them in place. That actually makes sense for my kid because I'm hoping he'll be able to go back to school.
Yes. Yeah,
Kindergarten's hard.
If you have not started like New Year's resolutions kind of thing, but if you have not started, like, let's say, like walking every day a little bit or something like yoga. I heard you talking about this with that particular live that you did on the new moon, I believe, about like yoga or starting
Yes, I
something.
want
This
to.
would be the perfect time because it'll help you like stay on track, I think, because it is Capricorn is such strong energy for like traditional and structure and
Yes.
the mountain goat always moving up, right?
Mm-hmm. This is one of so this moon and the Taurus moon are really good new moons to start things. So new moon in Capricorn is really good to start things that are going to benefit you publicly and career wise. And Taurus is a new moon, a good new moon to start anything that you want to be long lasting. Anything started in Taurus, it's said, is very, very long lasting and very difficult to alter. So it's good to get married in Taurus. It's good to, in a waxing Taurus moon, it's good to start a business. It's good to do those things. So that's also upcoming. Capricorn's really good for all of those finance, responsibility, public image, and career things.
I wonder what moon I was married under. I'm going to have to check that out.
That would be great. Let me know because that's all, that's really interesting. Probably not Aries since you've been married so long.
Yeah, I mean, we've been together 31 years, but do you know what you were married under? What moon?
No, I guess I should check it out. You can look up the date on moon.astro. I'll put it up here too. And then you just
we were married May 19th of 1994.
May 19th, 94. Let me see here.
Which also, by the way, May 19th is the day that the Prince Harry and Markle, they got married on May 19th. So they share our anniversary.
It was Virgo. Very good.
Oh, it was Virgo.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was Virgo and it was a waxing Virgo moon. Yeah, good time. So let me see. I got married in 2010 in September.
Have a great night, Amber.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, thank you. So September 10th, I got married in a waxing Libra, which is partnerships. So it's a nice time to start partnerships.
And it's like building something, right? Because waxing, so you're working towards.
Yes, things are growing.
What did you say mine was?
Yours is a waxing in Virgo.
Oh, waxing in Virgo. Oh,
yeah.
Not that I needed confirmation that it's been good, you know. If you're thinking about getting married on a certain day, I would maybe check to see what the moon's going to be in, or what the astrology is for that time.
Exactly, that's a really good point, Rochelle. And some cultures won't let you pick a wedding day without referring to looking at the astrology and stuff, especially in the East. When I lived in Korea, there was a lot of people who were waiting quite a bit of time for the right day for their partnership to begin. And that was just the way it was.
Yeah, that's wild. So, we already did Virgo, which is the fifth house of creativity. If you're Libra rising sign, it's in the fourth house of home. Yeah.
This one's my husband, so let's see what's going to happen for him this cycle.
If anybody wonders, I'm telling you, this particular Moonology diary for 2021 was literally like $10, a little bit under $10. And this has all this information in here, even how to find out how each moon affects you, the full moon and the new moon. So I highly recommend this. And it even has areas for you to put your intentions for each particular moon. And it does the new moon and the full moon each month for you.
Exactly. It's good.
Yes.
So the fourth house, your home life, your personal life, your domestic life, your past, your family, the people who feel like family and your actual home, all these parts of your life are up for renewal. now as this month's new moon focuses its energy onto your 4th house. If you haven't been getting on well at home or with your family, this is the ideal time to sort things out. If you want to move, sell, or buy, it's all possible. The interesting thing about that is the 4th house is traditionally ruled by Cancer, which is the sign of home, the sign of your private life, which is the polar opposite of Capricorn, which is the sign of your public life and your outside affairs. So I find it really interesting that that kind of oppositional sign is right where for these people it's going to be a balancing out. But then again, you're Libra, so that's kind of your forte is balance. Supposedly, I've known lots of not moderate Libras.
Yeah. And isn't that how it works, though? See, for me, being a Capricorn with a rising sign of Cancer, wouldn't every Capricorn have a rising sign of Cancer? Isn't that how it works?
No, not exactly. The rising sign is the sign that was rising on the horizon when you took your first breath. So you're just special to have it in opposition.
Really? I thought that's how it would work, though, because it is around. So if it's the one that's in opposition, it's the one that's across from it. So as one is going down, one would be coming up. Wouldn't it be like that?
That's typically so the rising will be different, and it can vary by a couple minutes. So the rising it's going to be different. If you had been born earlier that day, it would be a different sign, but you would still be a Capricorn because that's the day that the sun was in Capricorn. You'd still be a Capricorn sun.
Right. Okay.
Then the moon can be in opposition. So like, for example, I'm a Leo sun sign, but I was born in a full moon, and any full moon is going to be opposition of your sun sign. So then my polarity is Aquarius, and that's my moon. But it just depends on who you are. And it does actually kind of cause a little bit of friction in your personality, like a different presentation of Capricorn, because you have that oppositional energy, which either detracts or intensifies depending on what sign it's working with.
Yeah, but also, even though I'm a Capricorn, and this is what's weird, Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, but I was born during a Saturn retrograde.
Exactly, yeah. So, that's interesting too. That's also a special
and a Pluto retrograde.
Oh. Yeah, that's not happening the way that they normally would. So that's also interesting, and that's going to make you a different kind of Capricorn.
Right.
Yeah. So then when people say
like, my whole life, because I'm like, I don't want to be a damn Capricorn. I don't feel like a Capricorn, you know. But
it's so funny because yes, I think it's funny because we have these ideas of like the archetype of Capricorn or Leo or Sagittarius, and we're like, I'm not like that. But it's always a play, right, between the other ones, and everybody's playing a specific role. But I could totally see Capricorn energies in you.
Yeah.
And they're just present in the way that they present in you because you're in retrograde and you have an opposition with your rising and so on and so forth.
I think learning a little bit. I just want to answer Spirit of Dragonfly really quick.
Yeah.
He asked, is Moonology book a good one for beginners? Absolutely it is.
Absolutely.
I am a beginner. I just started learning about astrology this last year, along with many other things. That's another reason I told Brandy that we could do something like this, because we are not these like people that are astrologists that have been doing this for a long time. We are both pretty new to it, you know, fairly new. So if we can experience and learn this amount of stuff, almost like talking about it like in layman's terms, you know what I mean? And instead of this transit and this blah blah blah, we're just like talking like like any of you would that are just learning it. So I think to actually sit there and talk with an astrologist, I would be intimidated because it's complex.
I think this is a great book. It's a great book for beginners.
Very good. Yes.
I agree, Sherry. I'm a Leo too, but it comes or goes. My husband definitely sees that energy because I need the constant flattery and attention.
That sunshine, right?
I do. I need it.
So the next one, if you are a Scorpio rising, then it would be in your third house of networking.
When it comes to getting what we want, it's great to visualize and write wish lists, but also to communicate to others what we want. This invokes the law of attraction because speaking our desires means we need to have some conviction that we can get what we want. The new moon this month in your communication zone brings energy galore for communication. What do you want? Who can help you? Just ask.
Very nice. So if you are which we already did this, but in case anybody new has come in or is going to see this later, if your rising sign is a Sagittarius, then it would be your second house of money.
Mm-hmm.
If your rising sign is an Aquarius, it would literally be your 12th house of secrets. And if you're pardon me?
And we did read that one as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you are a Pisces rising, it would affect your 11th house of support. And I believe we did that one as well. So I think we got through them all. But something to keep in mind, whenever you're doing, if you really want to find, other than having something like this, if you want to find how something affects you, if you don't know, then you would just go by what your sun sign is. So if you're a Capricorn and it's in Capricorn, it would affect your first house. Mm-hmm. And then it would go around, because the first house is Aries, the second house is Taurus, and then Cancer, and I don't
Gemini,
know.
Cancer, Leo.
Gemini, Cancer. Yeah. Right. So you would just go down the whole line. So if it was Capricorn is most generally the 10th house, but you're starting at the first house. So then the next one after that, which is Aquarius, would be the second house. And then that's how it would affect the different houses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But most generally, they like to go by, it's more accurate if you go by your rising sign. And it's the rising sign that dictates what your first house is, and then on and on. It just continues to go around the zodiac. So, in case you didn't know how that worked, because I had to research it for this. Because I'm like, all right, I see what it's telling me in here, but I want to know, how did they figure this out? I need to know. So, that's how. But I suggest, if you're new, just get the damn book. It's $9.99 on Amazon, and it is so incredible. About rising Capricorn. That would be in your first house of self. Which, where is it? Where is it? So it says, for your first house, what it says, the new moon is taking place in your first house this month, which is big news. It just pretty much says, because it's your first house, which is Capricorn, because Capricorn is it's the moon right now. It is, well, the new moon is Capricorn. The sun sign is Capricorn. Venus is in Capricorn. Pluto is in Capricorn. So Capricorn is huge energy right now. So with that being said, and with it being in your first house, this particular new moon, you can pretty much set any kind of intention you want for any part of your life. This is like your time to be doing that. And this is going to affect you for this year. So whatever part that you want to work on, go for it. That's what I would say for that, including yourself, the way you want people to perceive you. Because the first house, I'll tell you what it says for the actual first house itself, what the first house means. Mm-hmm. Let me find it really quick. A good explanation. Okay, so this is what it says. And this is out of, which is another book I highly recommend. Oops. The Llewellyn 2021 Daily Planetary Guide. The first house shows the sign that was ascending over the horizon at the moment that you were born. Let's think again of your chart as one big house and of the houses as rooms. The first house symbolizes your front door. The sign on this house cusp, also known as the rising sign or ascendant, describes the way that you dress, move, adorn yourself, and the overall condition of your body. It relates to the first impression that you make on people. So, yes. And with this being a new moon, it's about new beginnings, setting new intentions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Starting things. Yep.
Yes. So any kind of new intention, but this is such a powerful one because of it just being the first one of 2021, but all of the other, especially for you with having a Capricorn, it's a powerful one for you to make any kind of intention that you want that's going to last you at least for the first 6 months, if not the whole year. So, but I will say that it did say also in the book that there, and you were touching on this, about Mars and
Mars and Uranus have a discordant square happening right now. So there's a lot of energy there that's not, it's kind of combative. Which is not to say that you shouldn't take those steps and make those plans for what you want. It's just there's all of that energy there too.
right. How long is that supposed to last? Do you know?
It's a transient one. Let me see. I have God, where is it? Hold on. I have a little post here that was talking about it recently.
It does say that no matter what it is, this kind of conflicting energy, which I know that we're all pretty much feeling it right now, right? The world is kind of feeling it right now. Still make your plans, because your long-term plans from what you're doing right now are going to far outlast this current energy. So still put it out there.
Yeah. Here's what it says. And this is Kiara Stellar. You can follow her on Instagram, and she's an astrologer who does updates for free. So that's a really nice source. And it says, this transit is important because we'll be squaring the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction Aquarius along with Uranus and Taurus. This will be activating both Aquarius and Taurus houses and thus beginning to provoke the changes it may go through this year with a challenge. This energy is all about breaking free, which is Mars and Uranus and Taurus, from limits and restrictions, which is the Saturn energy, because of the thirst for freedom, which is Jupiter energy. Mars is the planet of war and anger, so it's adding to the already revolutionary Uranus square with a lot of friction and confrontations. When Mars makes its first square to Saturn, which will be on the day of the new moon in Capricorn, which they have as January 13th because they're East Coast, you may begin to feel this effect in your Taurus house. Remember, this year comes with a lot of potential for structural growth and change in your Aquarius house, and where you have the sign ruled by Venus will also be meeting changes to that effect. So it is a transit, meaning that it's going to pass, just kind of like we just had a conjunction and it passed, right? They're still in the same sign, but they're not as close as they were. They're moving apart before one of them will go retrograde pretty shortly, and then they'll dance in and out of Capricorn for the next couple of years. But it's just basically saying that we are gonna be wanting to make those big changes, and there's gonna be a lot of energy to support those big changes, but there's also the risk of confrontation and like a little bit of aggression. And maybe if you harness any kind of energy in a good way, you could aggressively tackle your debt. You could aggressively clean your house.
Or know that it's coming, and you know how to counteract that kind of energy by maybe seeking some sort of inner peace, doing some meditation. And when someone says something to you, just, just don't react, don't respond.
Have a hematite in your pocket.
Exactly.
Or whatever helps you feel grounded and just like, I'm not gonna fight with this person. And the Mercury is going retrograde soon too. So you might slip into that little energy of just like wanting to accidentally not use your mouth in the best way possible. So
you just put that so nicely.
I'm trying really hard not to curse as much. What energies am I looking for? In what way? Did I miss any other questions?
I don't think so.
While they're asking this other question, there's other information about in general overall how everything will affect you on my other get ready with me for the new moon. But I do have, so for those of you, this is a new one that's probably going to be reviewed on my channel pretty soon. It's called the Moonery by Dune. Do you know where your Capricorn is in your chart?
Mine?
Yeah.
Where's my
So
book?
this one doesn't go by rising. This one goes by the specific planet in question.
I mean, that is my sun is Capricorn in Western.
Is it in your?
I also have it in.
Is it the ruler of your 5th or your 6th house? Or
well, hang on, I gotta find it. Let's see. It's in my Mercury. Yeah, it's in my Mercury, Capricorn, and my Sun. But as I said, I was in retrograde for Saturn for Capricorn.
Is it in what house was that on your natal chart?
What house was it?
Was it the 5th or the 6th? I can't remember.
It was my 7th house. It was my
It's your
Sun.
7th house. So according to this, you'll experience a new chapter regarding your relationships, which is kind of like what we had already thought. It's a good period to improve your relationships and spend time with your friends and loved ones. Some challenges regarding groups or shared resources could come up for you to heal and resolve. How could you improve the way you relate to others? How would you like your relationships to be? Write down what you'd like to manifest in the notes section. So they go by where it's transiting by sign instead of where it's transiting by rising in this book, which I found to be very similar, but very also kind of like a nice.
Well, where is Capricorn in yours then?
So mine is, let me double check. I want to say it's the 11th house. I'm almost certain. Yes.
Because what did we say for you for the rising?
It's also 11th house.
Okay, so it's probably still calculated the same way. You just arrive in a different way. I mean, it's in the same destination, but you're arriving there differently.
Exactly. And say you'll experience a new start regarding friends and group collaborations. It's a good time to network and socialize. You can plan a trip or travel with friends around this time. How do you want your friends to be like? What group or company would you like to join? Reach out to people that might be able to help you achieve your goals. Write down what you'd like to materialize in this regard. So I feel like they're very similar. They're very similar. But not quite. So it's a really different nuance.
So try both ways to get the whole big picture kind of thing, probably.
Yeah. And I would definitely do that. I would definitely do that.
Yeah. What is the name of that book, honey, so I can write it down?
Moonery.
Moonery?
Yeah, Moonery by Dune. I got it. It actually took 5 weeks for this one to get to me because it got lost. So she sent me another one, but by the time she had sent me 2 weeks after the one she sent me, another one should be coming at some point. And I contacted her. She already said I could give one away. So I will be at some point in the future talking about that.
Awesome.
When it comes, God only knows. It was stuck in Brooklyn for 6 weeks.
I believe it. Everything is taking forever right now.
I know. It seems like New York is having a really hard time with their postal service.
Oh, so is Michigan. Yeah. I will tell you, I did have something. It was New York, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I had something that took, because I get the informed delivery on USPS.com, and it was showing that it was at this New York one, then this New York one, like 3 days later, then this New York one. I'm like, I'm 10 hours away from New York, okay? Does it take that long to the Postal Service? I mean, a week later, and it's in the 5th New York destination, right? I'm like, oh, okay, something's got to give here.
I know. If anything I have coming is going to go through New York, I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
it's going to take forever.
Exactly.
So I really appreciate all of this information. Did we talk about what intention people were going to set, or did we want to think about?
I mean, let us know. Do you have anything special for me? It's definitely going to be about, and that's funny, but I had put in my goals in the beginning of the year for this year to spend more time with my man, and work on the marriage a bit, because it's easy when we get busy or inundated with stuff that we forget about that other person that just means the whole world to us, and saying that that's what I need to be doing. So that's what I need to be doing.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
It's so important. That's excellent. I think I want to do something around growing my channel. I've been talking about that, but like in a very organic, natural, like good way that is not just beneficial for me, but for everybody who's participating in that. So I've been trying to think about how to do so in the most like authentic, but authentic way possible. Because you can buy subscribers, right? Well, all the dogs are barking. They just love that. And I've been getting, I don't know if you get these emails or anybody who is a content creator, but I've been getting email after email after email because they must have discovered my business email or whatever about like, oh, spend this much and we'll get you 1,000 subscribers in 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like, why would I want people who are not interested in what I'm doing? Like, what the heck?
You don't.
And you're not going to stay here if you don't like me.
Exactly. No, I mean, do you want to turn your channel into like some machine? I don't. I definitely want it to be people that, want to be there, want to be included, organic, like you said, authentic and organic.
A community, like as if we were close by to each other, people that I would want to be in my circle in real physical life. It's just that obviously we have so much going on in the world, and we are able to communicate via internet with so many people. That's kind of what I'm trying to make my village, my internet village, bigger, but in a way that's good for all of us, right? As opposed to like just having a whole bunch of people moving in and then it just like crashes the town.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you ever come to Michigan, you know that you got somewhere to stay, right?
I love you too. This is sweet. I can't wait to meet Sully in real life. He seems like a snuggler.
Oh, he is a lover bug, but he is. You would think when he's barking, at the door when someone's there, that he wants to attack them because he's like, he's a beagle. But actually, he's barking because he wants you to come in and pet him.
He's just so excited.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry about that spirited dragonfly. That sucks. Sherry, I'm focusing more on my spirituality and my crystals. That sounds amazing, Sherry. That sounds really good. I would love that. Spirituality is definitely something on my horizon this year. And it always, I mean, for us pagans and witches and however you identify, I feel like it kind of always is there. There's something we're always interested in or learning in or whatever the case may be. But I'm trying to, I mean, that's what all of my content is going to be more focused on. How can we put that in our everyday life? How can we live it more? How can we make our mundane more magical? How can we make magic now? That's the thoughts that I'm thinking. I want to pull it back into our everyday life, just like our ancestors had it, right?
Exactly. I mean, when you got to do like everyday stuff like the laundry and the dishes.
Oh, yeah.
Can you maybe put on some good music and bebop around the house and make it part of your practice while you're doing the dishes and shaking your booty and, all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Make it magical.
Yeah. I love that. And then it puts your good energy into if you put your good energy into your housekeeping, then the people who live in your household will feel that love and those vibes, and it grows. And there's nothing that you can't put magical intention into. You can put magical intention into any action that you're doing all day.
Exactly. Like making your coffee or making your dinners.
Taking your shower.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Spirit of Dragonfly said, it was just funny. I finally got it. It's just the USPS is nuts nowadays. It is really bad.
It's so bad. Yeah. So bad, guys.
I didn't even get the witch's roots last month. I contacted them to make sure that they had not canceled me from it. They said, no, there was just so many issues last month that some people, like the people that were reviewers and stuff for them, they couldn't send them out. I was like, okay, I'm just making sure.
Oh, God bless it.
I said, no.
It does take a little bit longer. I know one of my boxes is lost. Not lost, but heavily delayed. I subscribe to this specific month's witches box because they're doing ritual bathing, which is my favorite. Ritual bathing is like my jam. And so I wanted to get that box. And of course they're delayed because one of the items in the box got delayed. And so that delayed, it's just madness.
The whole process. Yes.
It is.
Yeah. So we are going to be doing this again next month, correct? Did we already even say what day we were doing it next month?
So let me look up here. I want to say it's February.
February 9th.
Is that the day? Yeah, it's February 8th. All right. Yes.
Oh, also, just a little tidbit for anybody that maybe doesn't know, but the angel, the archangel for January is Gabriel.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And Barakiel is February's.
Oh.
I've got them all throughout the months. Because I'm the angels and stuff now too. So
that's awesome.
What would you say has been for anybody in here that really, really wants to start learning astrology, other than your simple planner every month? What is the one thing that got the book that got you really, really started, where you started to understand it a little bit more instead of it being like this huge mystery?
Astrology for Yourself. That's my favorite. That's my favorite, just because I'm actually really, really good at yes. I'm really good at astrology for yourself, like psychological, as far astrology as far as looking inside and trying to figure out who you are. That's the astrology that I've been working on for actually years. But I've never done it in a divinatory capacity. Like, and that's where transits and stuff comes in. And that's where aspects and all of that energy, which is changing every day because the planets are always moving. I've never gotten into that before. That's where I'm trying to, that's where this live series comes from, is that we're trying to think about, like, where is astrology, like, what is the energy of the day and how can we harness that, which is a different concept than I've done because I've always used astrology for internal investigation.
So thyself.
Exactly.
You're trying to learn your own blueprint. But this is how can we help somebody understand how this energy affects you personally. Yeah.
Exactly. Because they're both valid means of astrology. It's just that the one that I was connected to first is myself. And they're kind of different animals. So if you want to learn about yourself, then obviously Astrology for Yourself is where I really recommend. If you want to learn more about astrological energies and you just want somebody to tell you kind of what's happening, then the two resources that Rochelle, this one's really good. This one's really good. The moon sign book is another very inexpensive option, but it's mostly about the moon specifically. Whereas the other ones are going to talk about they're going to bring in the other signs, right? So that's a whole different animal. And it even spreads more. Like even Rochelle, you've seen in the book that we both have, they divide it up into astrology for yourself, astrology for couples, astrology for health, astrology for vocation, astrology for raising children, astrology for predictive, astrology for business. All of those are different aspects, which honestly, like this one's for raising children. It's fun. It's so cute. But it wouldn't really help you with transits at all, right?
Right.
So
I was going to say also, if you are really huge into moon astrology, I would also look into Vedic astrology, because Vedic astrology has the lunar mansions, which is all of your nakshatras. And there's so much information on the nakshatras about yourself and about your loved ones and how that works. And we are going to be doing over, not on my channel, but on a few of the other channels that I'm going to be a part of, because we're taking turns, because I can only do 3 people at a time streaming. So we're taking turns between a few of us. And this is going to be on the 17th. And we are also using the nakshatra to find out starseed origins.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But those are called lunar mansions, and they all like moon astrology, which is not really super prevalent in Western astrology.
Yes.
It's more prevalent in your Vedic astrology. So
that's, I haven't gotten into Vedic astrology, but funny thing, I was gifted a Vedic astrology deck by basically a stranger. I was giving away my extra boxes because, I get a lot of boxes. And this woman, she came and she took like over 100 boxes, and then she brought me a gift. She's like, I found this in a storage unit and I thought of you. I was like, wow, thank you. So I got a whole new deck.
I would look into it, honey, as much as you do around the moon. Look into Vedic, because there's a huge amount of information just around the lunar mansions, which is the nakshatras. There's 27 of them. So it's very interesting. And we're also going to be looking into astrology and Western astrology also for different types of star seeds, and looking in there. And then there was also how to convert it from Vedic to Western from some of the information that we've seen. But it is so interesting, and just yet another way for the person to know thyself, or just it's just fun. Isn't it fun?
Yeah,
I find it incredibly fun. It just like astrology tells stories. Tells your story.
I know. I love that. And it helps you. I think it also helps you with shadow work, because that's one of the things I love about astrology for yourself. It's like when you're in your best self, when you're high vibe, so to speak, how are you? You're so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. When you're not in your best self, what kind of behaviors do you sometimes give into? And then I feel like that's a really eye-opening thing when you're like, oh yeah, I really do that, don't I? and that's just me being not high vibe, right? That's just me being harnessing the energy that I was given, which is neutral, in a negative way. So that's another thing when it goes back to like, I don't feel like whatever sign that you don't feel like, you may be thinking of only a negative aspect or a positive aspect, but the neutral energy is just there, and we can choose how to manifest that in our own lives. We don't have to, it's not a script. It's just the energy that you were given. You can drive your car to work, or you could drive your car, to a bank robbery.
Exactly right. But knowing what kind of energy is in your day gives you like an advantage, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly.
So I say the same thing about numerology. That's why, like in my junk journal, I will figure out what my monthly, my monthly, my yearly, and my daily number energy is, because that all means something as well. So it's all very cool. If you don't have anything going on that day and you don't care, you're not going on, it doesn't matter. But if you do have something big planned and you want to know what kind of energy is around in that day and how you can possibly harness it, and it can help you in whatever you're endeavoring to do, then why wouldn't you use it? That's what, I will say, Sherry, I got a book and a deck. It is the Vedic Astrology study deck right here. And it's by Julianne Victoria. You can actually find her channel on YouTube. She's actually been on my channel. These are hers. They are study cards. It's a study deck, which I always find the decks are wonderful for studying.
Yes, they are.
Like cards. If you want to learn more about Vedic astrology, and she also has a book called Shedding Light on Jyotisha, which is, I can't remember what that means, like the light or something. And it is a wonderful resource for learning a little bit more about Vedic astrology. And if you want to actually get your chart done and see, because you're more than likely a different sign than what you thought through Vedic astrology.
Yes.
I'm a Capricorn in both, but I'm a cusp actually in both. So I'm a different cusp in Vedic. But so like, for instance, when is your birthday, honey? The day and month?
August 11th.
Okay, so you're in Vedic astrology, you're actually a Cancer. You're not a Leo.
Well, I am pretty moody. I can be a moody crab.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. That's a big jump, though. Like, I'm well into Leo in Western astrology.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I actually did a video on my channel, Vedic versus Western, and show all of the dates on there. But so Western astrology, Leo is normally July 23rd through August 22nd. In Vedic astrology, Leo is August 17th to September 17th.
Oh, so Sherry, you would be a Leo.
So August 17th, you're still Leo, but you are definitely on the cusp, because Cancer goes from July 16th to August 17th. So you would be both. So if that resonates with you, and it's calculated differently. So Vedic astrology is roughly 24 degrees right now behind Western astrology. So technically, we're not in the age of Aries. We are in the age of Pisces right now. And it changes 1 degree. The calculation in Vedic astrology changes 1 degree every 72 years. And each house is roughly 30 degrees. So we are 6 degrees away from the age of Aquarius.
Yes.
So that is roughly anywhere from 300 to 432 years at 24 degrees. And we will be moving into, because it's 1 degree every 72 years. That's how it changes. And instead of it going forward, it goes backwards. So we were at the age of Aries. Now we're in the age of Pisces. And then next we're going to be moving into the age of Aquarius. And I even did, in my little chart here, a running back through history to show like when we were in certain ages, how long ago that was. I think I did it in this. So for instance, because I got all my charts in here. I might not have done it in here. Oh, yes, I did. So we started the age of Pisces exactly 100 or 1,872 years ago. The age of Aries began 4,032 years ago, according to this timeline that I have, that I figured. The age of Taurus was 6,192. Now, the reason I did all this calculation was because I was trying to figure out, I've always been always attracted to Egyptian stuff, right? And all this talk about the Sphinx, right? And now they're saying that they believe that the Sphinx was actually over 12,000 or from like 12,000 years ago, right? Well, throughout history, you can see that there's certain things that would be dictated to certain ages, like the bulls would be associated with Leo, right? Or I mean with Taurus, the age of Taurus, which was 6,192 years ago. So when you see the Sphinx, which was a lion that would be associated with Leo, that was 12,572 years ago that the age of Leo started. And you can easily calculate that, which I did. Whoops, over here. I'm a nerd.
That's really interesting.
But it's all very interesting. Very, very. So,
there was a question about, does it matter where you were born compared to where you are now? So your natal chart is going to be based off where you were born. It's the energy you were given at birth. But I love the link, astro.com. There's this study called astrocartography. And it's basically saying that if you were to move a certain place, then it would highlight different energies in your chart and strengthen them. And astrocartography is like where, because you have lines, your sun line, your moon line, your Uranus line, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, where those things would be activated at different places on the planet. So in one of the books that I have, Astrology, the only astrology book you'll ever need, she talks about how each sign has specific cities and countries that are associated with it. Those are just the places that archetypical energy would be heightened in those cities. It's the same wherever you were to move, it would highlight different parts of your chart just by virtue of the location. And that's a huge rabbit hole of astrology that I have never dived into. I only know that shallow overview. But if you wanted to dive into there, it's called astrocartography, and it's at astro.com. I'm not thinking of moving to change my astrology, but if you are thinking of moving, it might be something to consider, because some places might suit you better, might be better for your life. But that's all.
Even show in your chart that you were meant to move as well, like in your North Node and your South Node, or in Vedic astrology, your Rahu and Ketu, which has to do with karma that you create in this lifetime and karma that has been brought into this lifetime from a previous life. So it's also interesting. There's so much.
There's an infinite. You can never be an expert at astrology. There's too much. There's too many segments. There's too much to learn. There's just so much. We haven't even touched on hourly astrology, which is something that I learned right when that every hour of the day can be divided equally so that you have hours of each zodiac sign, which is a whole different thing together. There's so much.
I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah. It's so much.
For those people that like to be learning all the time, isn't astrology like the best thing that you can delve into? Because there's always something to learn. I mean, you're forever digging.
There always is. And I think that's one of the best things about metaphysical studies is almost everything that we would want to learn about. Let's say herbs. You could learn and practice your gardening and your herbal culture. What, you're bringing a dog in here? For all eternity, there would still be more to learn, because now, modern medicine is also taking a look more seriously at herbs, even though a lot of our medicines come from herbs. Your foxglove is your digoxin, your aspirin is your willow bark, right?
Yeah.
It's infinite. That's one of the best things. It's so much to learn.
That's excellent. All right. Well, I have got to take off.
My boys are getting too. Thank you so much. I hope you guys like this. If you did, please leave us some comments below. Please make sure that if you're not already subscribed to Rochelle at Amethyst Ascension, definitely check it out. There's so much good content. It's one of my first YouTube channels that I subscribed to.
And yours was one of mine. Yeah.
It's really good. I love all this stuff. I'm actually been really enjoying your Claire's series. It's just nice to talk about those things, because we have so many experiences that we don't get to give voice to in our day-to-day lives. And kind of like secular society kind of says, hearing voices is weird, but we all do at some way or somehow. So I really love that. I would definitely recommend you guys check it out on her channel.
And I believe we are doing this next month on my channel, correct?
Yes, we are doing this.
You're going to want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to want to come over and check it out.
Definitely still check it out. Always. We'll announce it and we'll.
Yeah.
Lord, sorry, my child is.
The joys of parenthood.
I know.
Thank
You know how older people get sundowners? Little kids get sundowners too.
Exactly.
Hi, Leanne. Oh, I'm sorry you missed it, but definitely watch the replay. There was a ton of really good information, and we both will be live often in the next few weeks.
Yes.
So there'll
Thank
be
you.
lots of chances to connect.
Thank you, sweetie. This is really fun. I enjoy doing this, so thank you.
All right. Thank you for coming. Thank you, guys. Please check out Rochelle. We'll announce upcoming lives, and thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful new moon.